Hi everyone, my name is Emma or Emma Panada. I use they, she pronouns, and I'm the creator and lead developer of All the Witches. To all of you who have been following our journey so far, thank you so much for your love and interest these last 6 months. To those of you just joining us, allow me to fill you in. All the Witches is an original tabletop role-playing game with deck building mechanics where witches are the heroes. You find yourselves in a fantasy world where spirits and humans live and love together. However, a dark magic called discordance is ever present in all things living, tempting them to darkness and corruption. A witch's traditional duty is to travel the land, seeking out those who have become corrupted by discordance and helping them and their communities to find peace and harmony once again. However, there are still witches that shirk their traditional duty in favor of exploring adventure and conflict within their own homelands. As a GM and players, you will get to choose what kind of coven you are a part of and what your goal in the world is. All the Witches is coming to Kickstarter October 16th, 2022, and we look forward to your support. This is the first episode of a mini-series that I'm calling Progress Reports. Each week I'll share a game mechanic with you all so you can better understand what this system aims to be and what you will be supporting if you choose to back our project. For this first episode, we'll be talking about dice. The dice system in All the Witches uses the full array of standard dice except for the D100. Dice are used when a skill or spell check needs to be made. In many other systems, the GM chooses a number that you need to beat, and then you roll a d20 or whatever other die and add the appropriate modifier. Then, if you beat the number the GM has chosen, you succeed at the check. In All the Witches, the GM instead chooses a die to represent the check's difficulty. Then, once the die is chosen and the GM tells you the appropriate related attribute to use for the check, you roll the die. If the die roll meets or is lower than your attribute's rank, then you succeed at the check. If the die roll is higher, then you fail. In addition, anytime you roll for a skill or spell check, you will also roll 1d10. This is called the critical die. If you roll a 10 on this die and you would have passed the check, then it becomes a critical success and something extra good happens. If you roll a 10 on this die but fail the check, then you don't get what you set out to accomplish, but something good happens or an opportunity presents itself to you. On the other hand, if you roll a 1 on this die and fail the check, then it is considered a critical failure and something extra unfortunate happens. If you roll a 1 but pass the check, you succeed at accomplishing your goal, but something goes wrong or a complication arises. For example, say your character needs to get into someone's room in a tavern to investigate something related to the quest the party is currently on. As your character approaches, you find the door is locked, but luckily, you have some tools you can use to pick the locks. The GM decides that this isn't an incredibly high-end tavern, so they tell you to make a d6 agility check. Your agility is rank 3, so you have a 50% chance of succeeding. You roll a 2, so you succeed and the door opens. However, you roll a 1 on the critical die, and suddenly you hear the tavern owner coming up to investigate a strange noise they heard. As gameplay continues, your character's attribute ranks will increase, and eventually you may become so agile that you no longer need to make d4 agility checks, you just automatically succeed. It's encouraged that the GM not create an artificial difficulty spike for easy checks. If a tavern's doors took a d6 check earlier in the game, don't change it to a d10 later in the game just to give your players a chance at failure. If a player's character is really good at something, then let them be good. There are optional rules so that there will always be a chance of failure, but we'll save that for another day. Thank you so much for joining us on this adventure. Please join me next week when we talk about attributes, skills, and the fatigue grid. If you'd like to follow our progress outside of these videos, you can follow us at allthewitches_ on Twitter. The link is in the description. Bye, and we'll see you again next time.